Hello, family, friends, and fellow alcoholics, addicts, moms and dads, and sisters and brothers, and everybody that's been tuning in and donating. And I'm Paul. This is Paul's Path. Yesterday was step 4. Guess what today is? That's right, step 5. Step 5 is very simple. The video might not take too long. What step 5 is when we share our step 4 with our sponsor. Now, a lot of people say you can do it with a priest and stuff. That's fine. I shared my step 4 with a sponsor. So I did an inventory. I put down my resentments. I put down the cause. I put down what part of self was hit. Sex, social security, you know what I mean? Was it my self-esteem? Was it my, my sexual relationships? Was it my ambitions for money? Was it my job? You can't get offended or you can't be resentful unless 1 or 2 or 3 parts of self are hit. Now, you're going to share that with step 5, okay? And every single step, the key is humility, okay? And I'll just read it real quick here. It says the second difficulty is well, anyway, I don't know where it is in the book, but anyway, humility for an alcoholic and an addict, it says, who's made progress in the program. It's a clear recognition of who and what we really are. Okay? That's our character defects. Okay? Good stuff and bad stuff. Followed by a sincere attempt to become what we can be, which is 6 and 7. Removing all that stuff that's blocking us from God so we can be useful to God and others. That's what the step 7 prayer says. Step 7 prayer is all about humility. They don't mention it in the step 7 prayer because the step 7 prayer is the definition of humility. Remove every single defect of character that stands in my way of my usefulness to God and others. So humility is a clear recognition. So we can't be lying to ourselves, right? Okay? So the most important thing I know of in step 5 is this, and this is what helped me the most. The book says, okay, another book, we got more than one book. It says, once we're honest with another human being, it confirms we're honest with ourselves and God. If we're not honest with another human being, we could be lying to ourselves. Even up until today, we even do that at step 10. I'm 19 years sober. I could have a problem right now with somebody and go to my sponsor and tell him what happened. And he'd go, but what about your part in it? Why are you so sensitive? Where's this self-pity coming from, Paul? I go, man, I don't know. I still got it, huh? Yeah, take a look at your part in it. Like, for example, when I did my step 4, I was very resentful at my ex-wife. She tried to get me deported. That sounds bad. I had everybody convinced she's going to get me deported, right? Very upset with my father because of the way he treated me as a kid. Very upset. I was afraid of his voice. The whole neighborhood was afraid of my father, right? After I got with Mark, my sponsor, and I did a true inventory, and I was still a victim, he pointed out that my wife at the time did everything she should have done to protect our child, our little boy, from me, an alcoholic. And if that meant deporting me, deport me, because I was not sober when she was trying to deport me. I could have killed that kid. I lost him on the beach one time. If she sees this video, she's probably going to kill me. I drank and drove with that kid. Not often, but I could have killed him. I could have killed myself. So now I find out through step 4, she was my first resentment in step 4. And when I talked about it with Mark in step 5, she went to the top of my amends list. She was number 1 on my amends list. She was number 1 on my resentment list. Now she goes to the top of my amends list. Okay, who's second? Dad is second. He's not a good dad, right? But we got along good in the last years. But Mark says, why don't you ever call him? I said, man, you should have seen how he treated me as a kid, So you do an inventory on it, right? And we find out I'm not talking to my dad for the last few years because I owe him a lot of money on a boat sale that went bad up in Vancouver. And the real reason that I'm not talking to him is because I'm too embarrassed. I don't have the money, and I'm afraid he's going to ask for like I was greedy. I was slothful. This is before I got sober, I didn't want to part with the money, so I didn't want to phone my dad. So I was lying to myself. I thought I was upset with my dad because of the way he treated me as a child. And you know what my sponsor said? He said, your dad treated you bad as a child, okay? He said, what was your grandfather like? I said, well, he's from World War II. He's a pretty tough guy, and the sponsor says, how do you think your grandfather treated your father? And I went, oh my gosh. He did the best he could do. The way he disciplined me was the way he was taught to discipline me. My grandfather beat the hell out of my dad. So I forgave him. And I forgave Lisa. And I forgave down the list. And they went to the top of my amends list. And the last time I saw my father before he passed away, he came to Huntington Beach to visit me and my son. My son was only young at the time, and I got the video of it too if you want to see it. It's on their YouTube channel. The last thing, and this never happened as kids, the last thing I said to him when he was waving goodbye at the LAX airport, I said, Dad, I love you. And he said, I love you too, son. And that is what you call Alcoholics Anonymous. That I cannot do on my own. That is not going to happen with those spiritual principles. And step 5 is a powerful step. Because even though I did a step 4, I went into step 5 delusional. My sponsor had to point things out and put things in order for me. I went in step 5 as a victim. I want to talk about column 2 because I don't want to talk about column 2. You can't do nothing about them. What did you do? Let's see your part in it. Let's talk about your inconsideration. Let's talk about your self-seeking. Right? Where are you being selfish at? Right? Self-pity. So I started to have a personality change then. I really started looking at other people differently. I have a great relationship with my wife today. We talked for 2 hours on the phone the other day. We're not in there. There's no romance. My son got the good job, as you know, and stuff. So we talked for a couple of hours. Years before my dad passed away, we were talking, a lot, almost every day, where we never talked before because he owed me money and I thought I was just mad at him because of the way he treated me, as I already said. That's Alcoholics Anonymous. These relationships have a lot to do with step 5. The reason I have good relationships today have a lot to do with step 5. Step 5 is powerful. And whatever you do not try to do it alone. I would recommend do it with a sponsor who knows you and knows your character defects. Knows all about you. Because Mark knew all about me. And man, did he set me straight. He called me a liar and he saved my life. Step 5 is powerful. Anyway, guys, that's it on step 5. It did go longer than I thought, but I just think it's a powerful step, and I hope everybody can get to step 5. But don't go from 2 to 5. You got to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. All right? Love you all, and I'm going to see y'all later. And I'm using my new phone, by the way. Tell me how the comments below if you like the new camera. Love you all.